Wow, wonderful. Round of applause. So folks, what we just witnessed and what we just saw there on the video is what CSS does best, right? Providing hope in many different ways to the many different people we serve in our 24,000 square mile area of southeast Nebraska. It's hard to believe that CSS has been doing this for nearly a century, longer than many of us, if not all of us, have been alive here, and really providing for the needs of people of all faiths, all backgrounds, across all of southern Nebraska, guided by these core values: dignity, integrity, empathy, trust, and sustainability. Now, those values are pretty self-explanatory for the most part. I'm glad that we have our sustainability panel up here to explain a little bit more about what sustainability means in the light of the work that CSS does on a consistent basis. So please welcome our moderator for tonight's conversation, once again, John Suka.
All right. Thank you, Craig. I think it's safe to say that CSS has been around a lot longer than anybody in this room. All right. Well, tonight, joining our discussion is CSS Executive Director Katie Patrick, whom you just saw on the video. She recently accepted a first place award on behalf of CSS from the Keep Nebraska Beautiful organization for our sustainability efforts. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. Mario Rassicot, CSS Director of E-Commerce, and John Haig, CSS Warehouse Manager. So let's just review what all CSS does. You got a good picture of it right there in the video, but we've got our Family Support Services program, which we've been talking about tonight. That's the subject of our fundraiser, helping people pay their rent, their utilities, and more. The St. Gianna program provides hope for survivors of domestic violence and women experiencing under-supported pregnancies. And our Food Market and Meal Services program. Now, these programs are all available in each one of our outreach centers in Lincoln, Auburn, Hastings, and Imperial. But in Lincoln, we also have our refugee resettlement, immigration legal services, and employment services. So we keep pretty busy around here. Well, on top of all that, we offer something called sustainability. Katie, I've got to be honest with you. When you came up with this idea, it sounded a little, shall we say, unexciting. But tell us why that's not the case at all.
Sure. So sustainability it can feel a little complex, or it takes on a variety of definitions depending on, I guess, where you are, what you're working on, and things like that. But at CSS, sustainability, we define, it's up here on the presentation, is development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. And so what does that look like at Catholic Social Services on a daily basis? Well, CSS has been practicing sustainability for quite some time, and that's been through our thrift stores. And so our first thrift store was St. Joseph Gift and Thrift in Hastings, and we opened that in 1998. A couple years later, we opened the St. Louis Gift and Thrift store here in Lincoln, and then we also opened stores in Auburn and Imperial. So these 4 thrift stores are incredible opportunities for the community to donate items that they no longer need, and then CSS does the job of getting them to people who are in need of those items. And so it's just been an exciting time to really highlight the work of the thrift stores, that they have been working so long, for so many years, and so just recognizing that and then expanding that more. And it's really neat too when we think of sustainability through the lens of our Catholic faith. I think it's very easy to understand and get excited about, I think. If we go back to that PowerPoint, it lists a few different bullet points there about how important it is to meet the needs of those that we are encountering daily. It prioritizes responsible discernment of our God-given resources. And then, as it's been mentioned, CSS has been around for nearly 100 years, and we hope to be around for 100 more. And what better way to ensure that we're present in the future than taking care of the resources that we have today.
And if you like history, you got to visit our gift and thrift store here in Lincoln, St. Louis, and the mural that's in there. I love what you like to say. It was a vegetable store, produce store?
Yeah. So the neat thing about the current location of CSS in Lincoln is that years ago, back in the 20s and the 30s, it was a grocery store. And just the neat part about that is I like to think, it was the time of the Great Depression, and people were in need of food. And so I like to think of those grocers and those who worked at the grocery store as being a place where they would give food to those in need, give food to the hungry. And that's very much what we at CSS continue to do. So I just love that we've been able to carry that on in that part of our city.
You bet. All right, our next slide is going to be an interesting one here, because we're going to talk about our e-commerce side of things. This guy. Now my Knights of Columbus brothers are going to say, if John were a pumpkin and wore a toupee, this is what he would look like. So I beat you to it. And better looking, whatever. Mario, tell us about why we have this picture of this rather interesting looking jack-o'-lantern.
Yeah, John, this is a unique ceramic cookie jar, and what's great about our thrift stores is we're able to hit on a local impact, a lot of foot traffic through brick and mortars, but through e-commerce, as you all know, just really able to expand our footprint. Most of us here have probably shopped on some digital e-commerce platform, but we received this cookie jar. It's a McCoy cookie jar, and if you're unfamiliar with McCoy, he is a very popular ceramic artist, and a donor donated this to the Auburn staff, the thrift store. They turned around and asked if I was interested in it, and I said, sure, I will sell it online. Not knowing much about McCoy, I put it online, and
if we sold it in the thrift store,
$15, $20, $25 at tops, and this item actually received the fastest bid on eBay, and at the end of a week, it sold for $275 to a buyer out in Missouri. And this is one of many items that we put on eBay. We have close to 500, 600 items, and we do get those gems, those diamonds in a rough that donors donate to us, and we're able to then extend the life of those donations in someone else's home, but also use that revenue from those sales to support our programs.
This involves a lot of research on your part, though.
Absolutely.
You're becoming a regular Pawn Star kind of guy.
Right, yeah. But it's just my generation and just the age of technology. I'm able to streamline it and become so much faster at the research and at the listings and at the shipping, and just allows us to just serve our customers better and more efficiently.
Excellent. I just thought of something. I should have done this at the beginning. I noticed he's sitting over here at table 2. Bill Medna just retired from CSS after 24 years. He was Vice President of Operations. Bill, would you stand up, please? Let's give him a round of applause for a job well done. Now, Bill, we asked you politely to clean out your desk before you left, but you left a few things. And one of these things, I know you did a lot of stuff for us, but holy mackerel, what did you get into by wearing these things? Interestingly enough, this is a nice segue into what we're going to talk about next: regive, resell, and recycle. John Haig, can we get any money for these things?
Yeah,
How
we
so?
can. Well, what we like to do at our warehouse is we take all your clothes, bring them, and we'll sort them, and we'll send like the really nice, the stuff that we get donated stuff that still has tags on it. People buy it, they don't wear it, they send it to us, and we like to send that stuff with the tag to either Mario or our thrift stores to resell. And then we also get other regular clothes, and we get Bill's overalls.
Which would be best as what? Rags?
That would be turned into industrial rags. But what we'll do is we'll bale it. You can see on the screens there. We'll turn them into 1,000-pound bales, and we'll send them out to our brokers. And they'll take that bale, and they'll break it apart and sort whatever clothes are into it, like women's shirts size whatever, men's jeans size whatever. And then they'll rebale that into 100-pound bales, and then they'll resell it to other thrift stores, other markets, and then 10 to 15, maybe 20% goes to Africa right now. They just send it over there.
And that's just where the market is.
Africa right now controls the price of the clothing market right now. The upheaval we had 6 months ago over in Africa shot the price way down. Now it's kind of stabilized. It's coming back up. So. So people that say that Africa doesn't control anything, they're wrong.
So the point here is that, say you've got some clothing at home that's stained or torn, you might just want to put it in the garbage can. Actually donate it to CSS.
Yes,
and it'll help.
absolutely. In our own Lincoln landfill here, 10 to 15% of that landfill is clothes that could be recycled into industrial rags or other items. So,
And to that point, John, too, one of the statistics that I heard recently is that we have enough clothes in the world right now to clothe the next 6 generations, and clothing is just constantly being thrown in landfills. And so, and we have great volunteers that will go through the clothing, and staff that will go through the clothing. So when they see clothing that are name brands or have are wearable or have the tag still on them, again, they'll go to e-commerce or thrift stores, and then John's able to bail everything else up.
yep. Yeah.
Well, it's great to hear about these processes and what we're doing to give, resell, recycle, but how about some actual stories, Katie, and how this has really impacted the people that we serve?
Yeah, so there's just a lot of stories across all of our different programs, but first it's important to know that the thrift stores, in addition to generating revenue for us to put back into our programming, we give roughly $5,000 away in gift cards to our clients every month. And so they're able to do the shopping, to come in with dignity, with a gift card, not a paper voucher system, but they're able to shop with that gift card, purchase household goods, clothing, furniture, different things like that. And so a couple of stories associated with it is that there was a house fire outside of McCook where a family lost everything in that fire. And so they were able to connect with our team out in Imperial and come into our thrift store and shop and get all of those basic necessities and things like that they needed to start to rebuild their home life. And then another example would be our thrift store down in Auburn, St. Francis Gift and Thrift. There was a mom and her children who had fled a domestic violence situation, and they ended up in small town Auburn. They didn't know anybody, they didn't know any resources or anything like that, but they were able to connect with our team down in Auburn, and they worked with them, providing them a gift card to go shopping in our thrift store down there. And then also, really cool, we had a number of volunteers and staff who were able to gather furniture that was donated, and then meet this family at their new apartment and bring the furniture and then some more items from our thrift store. And it was really sweet because one of our staff in Auburn, she brought her teenage sons to help unload the furniture and move it all in, but the mom, just in tears, was so grateful for what we were able to do. She was also encouraging her younger daughter, don't let them carry everything, get out there and help them and bring it into our new home. And so it's just a really neat story of being able to take the items that you guys don't need anymore, and it allows us to give new life to those items to people who need them.
Excellent. Those are great stories here. That's what makes it real, right? That's what makes it happen. This is what we're doing by supporting CSS and providing that hope in the good life. Now, Mario, it's amazing to me, we cover 24,000 square miles of southern Nebraska, but e-commerce has extended our footprint way beyond that.
Yeah, I mean, we're constantly shipping packages all over the country, even international. We had a buyer who purchased a set of bears and from London, Poland, excuse me. And he was usually eBay is very transactional, and once the sale is made, it's made. But this gentleman displayed his bears on his mantle with his other bear collections and sent me a message just saying that the bears made it home to Poland, which was pretty neat. And just it touched me because through that transaction, it just provided a little humanity to that transaction of just another, we provided a service for him and he was grateful for it. And kind of going off what Katie was saying earlier too, John, it goes to show that our work is never done, and one of the things that my team and I do is whenever someone purchases something from us, especially from the warehouse, we always ask them, have you heard of CSS? Do you know what CSS does? And most times, they'll say, yes, we shop at your thrift store all the time. And then other times they don't. And so it's an opportunity for us to provide a little evangelization, a little just orientation of what we do. And we've actually had some customers, as we've asked them that question, they've been very vulnerable and have said to us, actually, yes, my mom and I were residents at St. Gianna's when I was a little girl, and you guys took care of us. Or I remember going through your food market as a little girl, little boy, with my parents when we had no money for food, and you guys fed us. And so they're really touched to be able to purchase something from us now to support what we do so they can support others, but also remembering that you guys were there in our most vulnerable moments. And it's always impactful. So our work is never done, and we will always continue supporting those around us.
Well, speaking of work never done, we're still cleaning out Bill's cubicle. So I'd like to show you. Bill, I don't know why you're into leopard stuff here. So guys, where is this something we recycle? Is this something we resell or regift? What do you think?
That one?
Well, we would look at that, and depending on where it goes, whether it goes to a thrift store or straight to John, we're able to determine its condition. John and I always have this mantra that client first.
Client first,
And
definitely.
so no matter what, if it goes to a thrift store, if it goes to online sales, if a client needs it, they get it first, and we delist it and take it off the market. But something like that, I'm sure that the thrift store could use before we would actually recycle it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if it was a Gucci, then I'll take it.
You'd look good. Actually, it matches your dress pretty well, Katie. Don't adjust your television set. It's a little. Yeah, Bill also, he's kind of a wannabe Shriner, wanted to be in one of those little cars. He drove this around the office a lot. This was also gifted to us. How about something like this? This looks like it'd be an online item.
Well, this came straight to the thrift store. The thrift store staff turned it around straight to me and said, would you like to put this online? This is a vintage, retro police car, pedal police car, step-in police car for a kid. And we currently have this on Facebook Marketplace. And the reason why I have it on Facebook versus eBay, because of the size and weight, it's just more feasible to sell it locally where someone can pick it up than trying to ship it, and it would cost just as much to ship than it's worth.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's currently online right now if you want to purchase it.
Okay. We'll take bids tonight too, for
you
that
go.
matter.
Except Bill. He doesn't need
He
it.
doesn't want it.
John, tell us about how your job has directly impacted some of the programs that CSS.
Well, in addition to our clothing we also take shoes and purses and stuff, and we send those to brokers too. In addition to that, we're also the furniture warehouse collection point for Lincoln. So we take your donated furniture. Lincoln is amazing, and I need something, it comes in. It just does. You guys are great. So keep coming. But so we have furniture that we give out to our clients for our family sports services, St. Gianna's, and our refugee services.
And again, where is the warehouse located?
Warehouse is 1300 North 14th Street. We're in the North Bottoms. We're north side of the tracks. Look south, there's UNL. So, but yeah, we have that. So we supply the furniture for our programs. For our refugee services, for example, we don't necessarily interact with the client a lot. We usually go in, set the apartment or house up with furniture, and then we're out. But occasionally we do interact with them, and when we do, they're so helpful, so grateful. They'll help unload the truck. They'll help set their stuff up in their apartment, and it's a joy to work with them like that.
How about some international students? Have you worked-
Yes, absolutely. We've had a lot of international students come through. We do have a gentleman by the name of Mark who works for the chapel, and he will bring them in or he'll direct them to our warehouse. And they'll come in and purchase stuff. And he has a pickup, and he will take it from our warehouse to their location and help them set it up. So it's really great. He comes in about weekly looking for stuff. So
Beautiful.
it's good times.
That's great. Katie, we're running into a new phase of sustainability with the CSS donation collection program.
Yes, so you can see again on the screens up here, we have our new donation bin. And so we are working with a local nonprofit called Echo Collective, and they serve refugee and immigrant women, providing them business skills, business training, but then also offering sewing classes. And so as a nonprofit, they've also received a lot of textile donations beyond what they can use. And so they're wanting to partner with Catholic Social Services and make those donations to us. And so we took it a step further with them, and we've created this bin, which is sitting at Turbine Flats, which is a co-working space here in Lincoln, down on 21st and Y. And so here we're able to be available to the whole community as a donation collection site for any textiles, purses, shoes, items that people no longer need, whether it's gently used or still new or worn. We're very happy to take it. And then a number of you I know are part of parishes here in Lincoln or outside of Lincoln, and you have our CSS trailers parked in your parish parking lots. And so that's similar with this program of what we're doing, whether it's a bin or a trailer, and just really wanting to work with our current partners, but wanting to expand that even more to other parishes and with different groups, so we're able to increase the amount or increase the volume of what we're receiving, so that we can continue to either sell those items in our thrift store, through e-commerce, Facebook Marketplace, and eBay, and then if we can't sell it or give it away, we are here to recycle it. So just additional ways for the community to be involved.